everyone. I'm Aline McNaull, and I'm the Senior Legislative Representative here at IEEE-USA. I hope you are all doing well, and I'm excited to engage with you on a legislative discussion this week. So let's get started. For those of you interested in the CHIPS Act, I wanted to mention that the CHIPS Act is included in both the House and the Senate bills that are going through Congress at the moment and being negotiated by the staff. CHIPS is an appropriations bill, and so that is actually real funding, whereas the rest of the innovation packages are authorization bills. And so we're looking at both the provisions for agencies ranging from NIST and NSF to the Department of Energy, as well as trying to very much promote the CHIPS Act. There's a lot of bipartisan support for the semiconductor industry and the provisions in the CHIPS Act. And so IEEE is certainly working to make sure that those provisions are in the final package of the conference negotiations. So currently the conference package includes pieces of the Senate USICA bill, or the Senate United States Innovation and Competition Act, as well as pieces of the House Science, Space and Technology Committee's Competes Act. But it's looking like the Senate package is the driver in this discussion, and many of those provisions have been negotiated in a bipartisan manner and are likely to make it into the final package with certainly input from the House. So we are still looking at the National Science Foundation and the debates there, as well as NIST. But certainly the final package will resemble, we are hoping, the Senate USICA bill. Speaking of the National Science Foundation, the NSF currently has goals to try and improve STEM partnerships and STEM leaderships. One of the programs that IEEE is a strong supporter of is the I-Corps program. And a quick update about the nodes of that program. The first set of I-Corps hubs were awarded last year, and the I-Corps program supports regional hubs and certainly regional innovation through entrepreneurial training. The NSF is looking to expand and diversify entrepreneurial training through more geographic areas within the U.S. So certainly in the center of the country, as well as the rural American areas where there are certainly research institutions, but most of them have not received much funding as of yet. And this is one of those programs that the NSF is looking to utilize to bring more STEM funding to some of this rural American institutions. The NSF is looking to address the issue of diversity within the STEM fields in general, and looking at the issue of minority representation, which is lacking at every level of research. The NSF's new tech directorate will focus on curiosity-driven discovery-based research and is a development use-inspired solutions. And so that directorate will certainly work across the disciplines and with other directorates, but is its own entity. And IEEE is certainly looking to partner with the NSF and look at ways that we can help support the development of this new directorate moving forward. The Technology Innovation Partnerships Directorate is, of course, new, but is in both bills, and we are hoping to hear more about the plans from the NSF as they move forward to really develop the Tech Directorate. They're looking to develop coalitions of academic institutions and nonprofits to create regional innovation systems, and that's something that we've followed in the Competes and USICA bills, as those bills have moved forward since the start, actually. Regional innovation, dear colleague, for those of you who might be interested in getting involved, there's a solicitation out from the NSF to get involved in the regional innovation development. So I leave you with the dear colleague, and there will be more information in that dear colleague if you follow the link to become more involved with the NSF regional hubs development. In terms of the energy debates in Congress right now, we see two sides of this debate. Hopefully they can come to a complementary conclusion in the final bill, but currently the House is looking at reauthorizing the Office of Science and its various entities. So anything from bioeconomy and bio programs at the Office of Science to the cybersecurity pieces and other research funded by the Office of Science. There's a science laboratory infrastructure program also in the DOE Science for the Future piece of the bill. And then that bill is up against the USICA emerging technology provisions. So one of the things that IEEE has been supportive of in USICA is the funding and the programs that support the emerging technology areas. Many of our competitors are, of course, focusing on 14 different areas of technology, and we are supportive of the US putting more resources into those areas of technology. The USICA bill does establish new science and engineering research centers, and we're hoping that those can be helpful as the US looks to maintain our competitiveness in the STEM fields. Moving away from the USICA and competes debate, I wanted to discuss some defense news. So Michael Bloomberg was sworn in as the Defense Innovation Board Chair. And then the National Defense Reauthorization Bill is certainly underway in terms of the negotiations between House and Senate and the various subcommittees who have laid their mark, as well as the defense appropriations negotiations. The FY23 defense appropriations bill negotiations are certainly underway, and I look forward to hearing from IEEE members on those numbers and where we can be helpful in securing funding for defense programs. So in terms of the defense appropriations discussion, the House Appropriations released its defense bill and its allocation for defense programs. And so we've been looking through those, and I'd be happy to answer questions in the chat at the end of the presentation. The House Appropriations Defense Bill highlights national security issues and domestic advanced manufacturing, as well as cybersecurity, and it looks at the climate crisis with $2.5 billion in investment in clean energy and climate adaptation for facilities readiness and global security. So those are some of the priorities for the House Defense Appropriations Bill. We did see some good numbers in the appropriations that we follow closely, which are the basic research, the applied research, and the advanced technology development programs. Each of those did see an increase, which we were very pleased with. The basic research increase is a 9.4% increase, and that is very good in this environment, as well as the applied research, which is a 13.4% increase. The overall RDT&E increased 1.2, and so we're hoping that the Senate can certainly work with the House and support some of these really great increases in defense research funding. DoD science and technology did increase 11.4%, so IEEE was incredibly pleased to see those funding increases for defense research. We also had some good news in the Minerva program, which received $2.27 million. The Depth Score program, which we're very supportive of, which is a $5 million program. The Manufacturing Engineering Extension Education program, which is a $3 million program. And then Navy, DURIP, and Murray programs also saw good increases. So overall, we were very pleased with the House Appropriations Bill and for defense for FY23. And we look forward to seeing what the Senate comes up with and where we can be helpful in those negotiations to ensure good funding for defense research. The National Defense Authorization process is also underway. The Senate Armed Services Committee supported an $857.64 billion bill for national defense. So we're following those negotiations closely as well, looking to accelerate and institute the National Defense Strategy, as well as look at national security threats posed by our adversaries, address some other threats by both non-state actors and our adversaries. It does fully authorize the European Deterrence Initiative and provides $1 billion for the National Defense Stockpile for acquiring critical minerals. So we were very pleased with that. There's significant increases in hypersonic weapons as well as microelectronics research. I know those two areas of research are of great importance to our members who work on R&D in defense, and so I wanted to highlight that as well. And then there were funding increases for the U.S. Cyber Command artificial intelligence capabilities as well. So overall, we were again very pleased with some of these provisions and look forward to supporting them in a final package for the National Defense Authorization. So that ends my presentation. I'm certainly happy to take questions and engage with any of you all who are interested in some of these issues. For those of you who are asking questions, certainly happy to address them. I see one on gun control legislation. So IEEE takes positions on STEM provisions in various legislations. So we follow issues for engineering education and engineering workforce issues, as well as AI and entrepreneurship, SBIR, those types of topics. We don't tend to take legislative positions on other issues. So the gun control debate is one that we're certainly aware of. The Commerce, Justice, and Science Bill contains agency funding for the National Science Foundation and for NASA, as well as NIST. And so we certainly follow those agencies and are aware of the Justice Department piece of that bill. But IEEE in general does not take a position on the gun legislation or the gun package. I'm seeing some comments about the National Defense Authorization Bill on climate change, the climate change provisions, the 2.5 billion. I think that in general, there are other climate provisions that are in other bills, basically. There's climate research funding in Build Back Better. There's climate research funding in the House the House Competes bill. And so we've been following those funding levels in terms of the clean energy programs, the renewable energy programs, and those members of Congress who wish to update the grid. Certainly happy to support those tech issues as it relates to climate change and clean energy. But in general, for the moment, IEEE actually does not have a position on climate change. And so though we're following those issues closely, and we certainly weigh in on renewable energy and nuclear reactors, and especially the development of small modular reactors, as well as the closing of nuclear plants and that debate as it relates to natural gas and other energy sources. We don't actually currently weigh in on many of the climate provisions because we don't currently have a position on climate change. Seeing no other questions, I think we'll close the discussion today. I hope that you all enjoy the rest of your week, and the next update will be July 7th. So looking forward to a good discussion in early July. Thank you so much for joining.
With the advancement in new technology, the landscape for power systems is changing very rapidly. Information technology has really made a huge difference in enabling some of the things that we work on. I've been able to leverage IEEE-USA to be in the leading edge of my industry. IEEE is all about a sense of community. I am learning ideas and concepts and thinking completely out of the box. IEEE-USA is my competitive edge.